This is Dave Simon of Dave Simon's Music. Just want to talk a little bit about how to pitch Kids Rock on the phone. What I'm first going to do is I want to outline my general strategy for pitching on the phone, and then we'll get into the details of Kids Rock. There's 5 points I always make sure to hit when I'm doing a sales call. I want to gather information. I'm going to deliver my one-liner. I'm going to probe. I'm going to pitch, and then I'm going to close. Gather information, one-liner, probe, pitch, close. I have that written out in front of me at all times to make sure that I hit those 5 points. So gather information, it's simple. It's just ask the parent what their name is, the child's name, and the child's age. People love to hear their name. So you're going to, when I'm talking to the parent, I'll say their name at the very end of the phone call. So let's say the parent I'm talking with, her name is Gloria. So throughout the call, I'm not referring her to Gloria. That wouldn't be natural. But at the very end, I'll say, well, Gloria, it was great talking to you and learning, a little bit more about your child. And they might be impressed that I actually remembered their name. They might not remember mine at this point. And throughout the call, I make a point to refer to their child by first name. So in this case, let's say it's Charlie. So I'll refer to the child as Charlie. Maybe I'll throw in there, I'll refer to him as your son a couple times. Not only do people love hearing their name uttered, they love hearing their child's name uttered. Okay, so I just gathered information. I'm now going to deliver my one-liner. I don't want to get too bogged down in talking about what a one-liner is. Donald Miller does a great job of outlining this in his book, Story Brand, and he's got some great videos on a one-liner. Strongly encourage you to check that out if you haven't seen those yet. But a one-liner, it identifies a problem, a solution to your customer's problem, and then a happy ending to their story. The way I remember this is an acronym, PSE, problem, solution, ending. So at this point, I deliver my school's one-liner. I do use this one-liner strategy with all of my programs at the school, and we'll see in a minute how that applies to Kids Rock. But once I've gathered the information about the parent, the child, and the kid's age, I jump right into our school. It's based on the idea that all kids love music, but not all kids love lessons. There's the problem. We offer rock band classes that makes playing an instrument fun. There's a solution, and then which really helps kids feel confident in their abilities. So there's the happy ending to the story here. So I'll just read my one-liner again without my little commentary. Our school is based on the idea that all kids love music, but not all kids love lessons. We offer rock band classes, makes playing an instrument fun, which really helps kids feel confident in their abilities. And then from here, I transition into number 3, probing. This allows me to identify what my customer is looking for and ultimately how I can help them. So I always ask this question. So what inspired you to seek out music lessons for your child? It's really an invitation for them to talk. It's the equivalent of your doctor saying to you, so what seems to be the problem? When the doctor says that to you, you know they're going to sit back and they're going to listen, and you get to talk. Everybody loves to talk. And everyone loves to talk about their kids. You haven't even gotten really into the details of your product, but the parent's starting to feel good about you because you're expressing interest in them. You're not expressing interest in your product, or you're not expressing interest in selling to them. You're expressing interest in them. It also implies that your studio is customer-based, not product-based. If you're product-based, you're going to come right out and talk about how great you are, and they're expecting that. Instead, you're asking them about them. Through this, by probing, you're able to better understand your perspectives, hopes, and fears, and this is really going to allow you to tailor design your pitch. Okay, so let's get into pitching Kids Rock. There's 4 different approaches that I'm going to take, and with each one, I'm going to outline a problem, a solution, and an ending. So problem number one is this age group's not quite ready for lessons, but they have musical abilities. What's the solution? What solution does Kids Rock provide? Makes music fun and easy so kids feel good. And the happy ending is the kid falls in love with the music and discovers the instrument that they really connect with. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, my second approach, or another option I have, is leading with younger children lack the fine motor skills required to succeed in music. Kids Rock maximizes their strengths and minimizes their abilities. And those being their challenges are fine motor skills versus gross motor skills. They do have some basic gross motor skills at 4. So they can hit a drum and they can press down a couple piano keys and they can pluck a string. Okay, number 3, my third approach. The problem is this age group lacks patience required to master an instrument. And this age group really wants instant results. They're used to instant results. They sign up for soccer at 4 and they go out day 1, they're playing soccer. That's what they're used to. If you tell them day 1, oh, well, it's going to take a few months before you get results, the 4-year-old's checked out already. So what's the solution? Kids Rock provides instant results, just like soccer, just like every other activity a 4 or 5-year-old's doing. The happy ending to the story is child's able to build on their success and face the challenge of private lessons when they're ready. So Kids Rock's building them up to believe in themselves, believe in their abilities, and hopefully they'll become frustrated with Kids Rock, that it becomes too easy for them. Let's say they're 7, they've been in the program a couple of years. It's too easy for them. Great, let's look at private lessons for you. It's not going to be so easy anymore, but they're ready for that. They're hungry to grow. And then the fourth approach would be that signing a child up for lessons, you potentially risk putting the child on the wrong instrument. So quite often, a parent signs up for piano when their child's 5 or 6 just because that seems like a likely instrument to sign up for. The kid doesn't like it and wants to quit. What if that child was put into drum lessons? Perhaps they wouldn't have quit. Now, it's really expensive to keep hopping from instrument to instrument until your kid finds the instrument that they want, whereas Kids Rock allows the child to experience all the instruments. So now I'm getting into the solution that ultimately Kids Rock allows a child to find their instrument. And the happy ending is the child has a sense of accomplishment. They can play music. So none of this talks about what Kids Rock is. It's all about, here's a problem that your child has in their life. They're not ready for lessons. They want instant results. It's really not clear what instrument's the best instrument to start them on. And here are these solutions. Now I'm going to get into some program details. Because a lot of people will say, oh, well, tell me about Kids Rock. And they get right into the details. No, you want to, that comes second. So here's some program details. Custom instruments and innovative teaching methods makes playing a possibility. And you know what? Some of these details you might never get to. The parent's ready to sign up before you hit them. It's play-based learning. That's I like using that term. The term says it all. They rotate on guitar, drums, piano, and they sing in the program. You can tie that back in with the issue of the child finding the right instrument for them. And the whole goal of the program is for the kids to be able to play a couple songs in concert and sing a song in concert. Another program detail is that Kids Rock is an internationally acclaimed program. It's a proven method. And it also bridges the programming gap from early childhood programs, Mommy and Me classes, to private lessons. So those are, some of the program details. Logistics, the program meets once a week, or the class meets once a week for 45 minutes. There's no at-home practice. Here are some things to avoid: going too deep with these program details, unless the parent really is pushing for it. The whole point of the program details is for they just simply understand what Kids Rock is. They might already know after visiting your website. So yeah, you wanna put them out there, but you don't want to go too deep with it. Also, I would avoid detailed personal stories, maybe about your experiences of teaching Kids Rock or your experiences with your kid. It's okay to do it if it's relevant to the prospect, if it's validating a concern that the prospect has. Let's say, for example, the prospect says, "Oh, well, my mom put me in lessons when I was 7, and I hated it, and I quit, and I certainly don't want that to happen to my child." You can say, "Oh, you know what? That's funny you say that. The same thing happened to me. My mom did this, and I took these lessons, and I really wanted to get good at it, but I just hated my lessons." So now this is all relevant to the prospect, and you're validating everything that you said, and you're also making yourself relatable. Stay focused on the benefits of the child. It's fun and easy, or it's a fun and easy way to learn how to play an instrument. Fall in love with music. Discover, the instrument you connect with. It allows kids to experience success. Those are all things that are child-centric. Don't get bogged down in your program. Okay, so here's a sample pitch. It's short and sweet, and it's using, in this pitch about Kids Rock, you'll hear the one-liner approach of here's a problem, here's a solution, and here's the happy ending. So here's my short and sweet pitch for Kids Rock. Kids in this younger age group aren't quite ready for private lessons, but they have a good sense of music. Kids Rock's designed so kids can play as a rock band on day one. These instant results help kids feel good about their abilities helps kids feel good about their abilities and making music. There's a typo there in that last line. Hopefully by the time you're reading this, that typo will be taken out. The next step is the close, the ask. And I don't want to get too deep into this, although it kind of is the most important part of the whole sales process. But here are some different things you can say about, to make the close happen. Our schedule's filling up quickly, and I want to make sure you get a time that's going to work out best for you. Now you've created this sense of urgency, and you're leading from there. You can lead into, let's look at the schedule and get them to commit. Or you could say, we have openings on, list 2 or 3 options. Do either of these times work better for you? The prospect hasn't even said anything about they want to sign up. But this is really an assumptive close where you're assuming that they're going to sign up. It's not offensive by any means to say something like this, but now you're putting them in a situation where you're applying a little bit of pressure. They got to make a decision. And then if they're unable to commit at that moment, I would then schedule a follow-up. So I'd say something like, well, how about if I reach out to you on Wednesday? Let's say this phone call's on Monday. So how about if I reach out to you on Wednesday at this time to discuss? And they agree to it, and then you always follow up with an email recapping what was discussed. And we were talking 2 or 3 sentences and confirmation of the follow-up call. Okay, so quick review. Here's how it all might sound in real time. Phone rings. Dave Simon Drexel, this is Dave. How can I help you? Oh, hi. I was interested in finding out about lessons for my child. All right, great. Well, I can certainly help you with that. First of all, I was wondering if you could tell me your name. My name's Gloria. Great. And what is your child's name? His name's Charlie. And how old's Charlie? Charlie's 6. Okay, so now I'm going to go right into my one-liner. Well, let me tell you a little bit about our school. Our school is based on the idea that all kids love music, but not all kids love lessons. So we offer rock band classes that makes playing an instrument fun, and this really helps kids feel confident in their abilities. I'm just curious, what inspired you to seek out music lessons for Charlie? And Mom starts talking, and she just says, oh, if she says she's heard about the program before, it's going to make life pretty easy. No, she's calling about her 6-year-old. Let's assume she doesn't know anything about Kids Rock. And she just says, oh, well, he really likes, he got this toy guitar for Christmas and he's always playing it. And I just thought he might really enjoy music lessons. I might say something, might kind of probe a little bit about that guitar and what kind of play he's engaging in it. It comes across as I'm really trying to understand Charlie and where his interests are, because I really am trying to understand Charlie and what his interests are. But from this, I'm now going to look at my 4 different pitch angles. And so this kid's playing and with a toy at home, and mom wants lessons. So I might go with the first approach here of, the problem being kids in this age group and Charlie's age group aren't quite ready for lessons. So I'm basically saying, Mom, this is not the time to do what you're doing. But Charlie does have some musical abilities, and we're going to make music fun, and he's going to be successful in our program, and here's what the program's all about. And then I'm going to go into the close. So I hope this is helpful. You can apply this to all the different programs at your school, and there'll be some additional videos on how to sell lessons and junior rockers as well.